Justin, when you went back and looked at the tape, what did you like from your performance and what didn't you like?
Yeah, I thought, definitely like the times that, I felt like I was in a rhythm. I think, once we kind of get plays going, then, that puts the whole offense in a rhythm. So, we put a couple of good drives together on Sunday. Of course, things that I didn't like, I felt like, I wasn't necessarily playing my game. I felt like I was kind of robotic and, not just, not playing like myself. So, my goal this week is just to, say F it and just go out there and, play football how I know how to play football. And that's not, uh, that includes thinking less and just going out there and, playing off of instincts rather than just of, so much, so to say, info in my head, data in my head, and literally just going out there playing football. I mean, just going back to it's a game, and that's it, because that's when, I play my best is when I'm just out there playing free and being myself. So I'm gonna say kind of just bump all the what I should do, what I uh, this and that, like pocket stuff. Like I'm gonna go out there and be me. So yeah.
When you are playing the way, when you're playing like yourself, what does that look like?
We'll see. So
When you say thinking less, what do you think was causing you to think so much, maybe think too much?
could be coaching, I think, but at the end of the day, it makes it. They're doing their job when they're giving me, what to look at and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I, can't be thinking about that when the game comes. I prepare myself throughout the week, and then when the game comes, it's, it's time to play free at that point. So, just thinking less and playing more.
Hey Justin, we've heard this before from other athletes. There are just too many like coaching voices in your head at this point that you're trying to process so much. Is that part of what you're saying?
I don't think it's too many coaching voices, but I just think when you're fed a lot of information at a point in time, and you're trying to think about that info, like when you're playing, it's like it doesn't let you play like yourself. You're trying to process so much information to where it's like, if I just simplified in my mind, I would have did this. Like I saw a few plays on Sunday to where if I was playing like my old self, like we would have had a positive play. Like there would have been, a few more third down conversions. So I think that's the biggest thing for me is just, playing the game how, I know how to play it, how I've been playing it my whole life. So that's what I got to get back to doing. So.
There was a few times you felt like you were in rhythm, and you liked the drives that you were in rhythm.
Yeah.
What does that look like, and what does that feel like when you feel like, okay, I was in rhythm in that drive?
Just after a big chunk play, we're on the ball, we're rolling. So I think chunk plays and kind of getting back to back. Like for the first drive, for example, we hit the dagger to DJ. Then we had a third down conversion, choice route. So I mean that's kind of what that looks like.
So Justin, what the 90-yard touchdown drive was another one where you guys a lot went well and a lot of different things worked. When you went back and watched that sequence, what struck you about that 8-play stretch of just going?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we didn't let anything affect us. I think we might have had a penalty on that drive, but we got through it and we just played ball. We did what we were supposed to do. No matter the down and distance, we just went out there and executed each play on that drive. So that's what we got to get back to doing, and that's what we're gonna do.
You talk about being fed a lot of information. When is that information being fed? Are you talking about on game day? Are you talking about during the week? Are you talking about all?
No, it's just I think there's been times where I just try to be a perfectionist, and nothing in this world is perfect. So like I said, just stop thinking more and just go out there and play.
Justin, what has this conversation been like with the coaches? I'm sure that right now is not the first time you're voicing that this week about wanting to play more freely, more naturally.
You said, what has it been like with the coaches?
Yeah, what was the I assume you talked to Getzi, Eberflus, or somebody about what you're saying right now?
Yeah.
And how did that go? Like, what was their input on whether you were being a little too robotic or maybe trying to account for too many things instead of just playing freely?
I mean, it was good, but, at the end of the day, it's like, shoot, the conversation was good. I'm just going to keep that private, to be honest with you, and, just like I said, and just go out there and play. So, I mean, yeah.
As part of playing freely, is that feeling free to take off and run the way? I mean, it seemed like you played freely last year? Do you want more of those elements now that you
Yeah.
seemed to have last year?
Yeah, I think you just have to have a healthy mix of it. You know, of course, there's going to be times where you are going to have to stay in the pocket, and then like I said, you're going to have to extend plays, make plays, get outside the pocket. Be a threat with your legs and be able to still throw the ball too. So just keeping that same kind of fluidity throughout the game, and you know, just being smart about everything. So.
That play you had down the sideline in the second quarter, the home team sideline, where you roll out on play action and defender made a good play on Cole. But is that the type of play you want to see more of that gets you on the move so you can make those sorts of throws?
Yeah, I mean, and like you said, that was a design rollout, so those plays can happen, called, or those plays can, happen scramble drill naturally to where, we are extending the play, and then that happens. So yeah.
Are you noticing teams when they're playing more zone on you? Is that taking your running lanes away? Are there ways to compensate for that in games?
What?
When you're facing as much zone as you are to be able to take off and run if you see it.
Talking about when it's a pass play?
No, I mean just any opportunity you have to create those explosive gains. Some of the things that we saw last year, are you seeing less opportunity to do that because of the way?
I would say in the read option game, I would say their ends aren't really playing the back. I know last game they were just pretty much focused on me. So but if they do that, then I just have to carry out my fake, and the back has to do his job by run the ball. So. Yeah.
You said you wanted to keep the conversations with the coaches private, but did they seem receptive to these ideas that you're sharing?
Of course. Coach Flus, Luke, everybody in the building is, always receptive to what we have to say, and anytime anybody has a problem or comes to them with anything, so they're all always receptive to us. For sure.
You said your rookie year you felt like you also had to play a certain way, and you said you used the word robotic, describing that in hindsight. Has this been a frustration for you throughout your career, having coaches try to change too much of the way you like to play the game?
You said, has it been frustrating?
Yeah, has that been a frustrating part of life in the NFL for you, that you have
Not really. I mean,
been trying to mold you into something that isn't the natural way that you want to?
Nah. I think Luke knows that I'm my own self. I'm my own person, and I think it's more of me trying to just making sure I don't think about it as much as we want you to do it a specific way. Then in the big scheme of things, I have to continue to be me, and play the game how I play it. And I think when sometimes I'm coached, I think that I've had times where okay, they want me to do it like this, so I have to kind of change it. But I mean, I just have to it's probably more of a me thing than a coach thing. So when they tell me things, of course I correct it, stuff like that. But in the grand scheme of things, I have to still be the person and the player. What's got me up to this point. So rather than changing my whole game, just implement it in my game, and make those little corrections, but don't allow that to change me as a whole player.
Justin, when you said you're a perfectionist, is that in the context of, if you're looking down the field, do you think it has to be perfect to let it rip? What part of the perfectionism in your personality do you need to kind of ignore? That's what it sounded like you were saying at least.
I didn't really understand what you were saying.
You're naturally a perfectionist.
Yeah, I just want everything to happen the right way. So no, you're always not gonna get the perfect picture if that's what you're asking for me to do something, or but yeah, I mean, you can keep asking your question. I feel like there's a lot of ways you can go with your question. So
in what ways does your own perfection or perfectionist personality help you and hurt you?
Help me what?
Help you and hurt you. You were talking as though it hurt you.
Yeah. I think it helps because you can do something good, and it cannot be good enough, so you can always strive to be better. And then hurt you is just everything doesn't have to be perfect. If it works, it works. So I think that's kind of the most simple way to explain it. So yeah.
Coach Flus has been adamant. Coach Flus has been adamant that this 12-game, losing streak hasn't really impacted the mentality in the locker room or affected the unity of it.
Mm-hmm.
These past couple of weeks, probably the first time in this kind of tenure where we've heard the coaches say, "Hey, Justin needs to be better here." We've heard you say the coaches could adjust some things here or there. Is that kind of just a natural process when you're trying to find some answers to really start to hold everybody accountable for what each individual's role is?
Yeah, and you know, we've talked about this multiple times. You know, nobody's gonna take anything personal. You know, if the coaches say, you know, we need to play better, we need to play better, I need to play better. I'm not taking that personal because, you know, I think everybody in here knows that I need to play better, including myself. So you know, they're not gonna take it personal if, you know, us as players go to them and say, yo, I didn't like this call, or, you know, they need to be better. So you know, we're all grown men in the building, and we all can take it. So you know, it's about, you know, working with each other, getting each other better, holding each other accountable, and working towards the same goal. So in terms of that fact, yeah, I think, you know, everybody can do better around here, you know, including myself. So
Just maybe as an extension of what you're talking about, on the strip sack in the second quarter, if you had that play
exactly,
back, what-
exactly.
what would you
I'm
do?
leaving. I'm gone. You know, time clock. I'm gone out of the pocket. That's why that happened, because I'm just, you know, they wanted me to work on staying in the pocket, you know, during the off season, which, you know, there's times where you do, but when that internal clock goes off, that's when you need to get out and extend the play, make a play. So yeah, so it's just kind of like taking their coaching, and then there's always going to be like, you don't have to always, I guess it's not going to work out perfectly every time. So yes, there's times where I could have stayed in the pocket, but like in that play that specifically, like I was in the pocket for a long time, so I gotta, you know, extend the play, get out of the pocket, extend the play, and you know, do something with it. You know, make something shake. So that's kind of what I'm talking about, though, and kind of, you know, getting back into my game, and, you know, becoming more of a football player than, you know, such a thinker on the field. So yeah.